The manila envelope slammed onto the coffee table inches from my hands, my name typed in bold capital letters across the front. The weight of it seemed to push all the air from the room. "Divorce papers," Amelia announced, her designer handbag at her feet like a coiled threat. "You promised if you didn't show up to Jeremy's wedding, you'd leave the family. I'm just helping you keep your word." William took a step forward, his face shifting from concern to horror. "Are you serious? Mom, what is this?" The room tilted slightly as I tried to sit up straighter, my hospital bracelet still tight around my wrist, my body weak from 5 days of intravenous fluids and minimal food. The familiar scent of William's ginger lemon soup, made to help me recover, now mingled with the toxic cloud of his mother's expensive perfume. "She came to the hospital," I said quietly, meeting William's eyes. "2 days before the wedding. Barged into my room and told me to get dressed and show up, or else get out of your life." My name is Olivia. I'm 33 and a senior financial analyst. This is the story of how I reclaimed my marriage from the woman who thought it was hers to control. Our marriage wasn't traditional, but it worked perfectly. William had quit his marketing job before we married to do what he loved: cooking, caring for our home, volunteering at the food pantry. I brought home the salary while he brought home the warmth. We thrived in our roles, even if his mother couldn't or wouldn't understand it. Amelia's distaste for me was never the quiet, passive kind. It was pointed and public, a constant stream of criticism wrapped in a voice that could cut glass. "You work too much. What kind of wife doesn't cook for her husband? That blouse is too formal. Don't you own anything softer? My William used to love my meatloaf. Has he even had meatloaf since he married you?" William always tried to buffer it. "She just needs time," he'd say. "She's scared of being alone." But time only sharpened her criticisms. She viewed me as the thief who stole her obedient little boy, and it didn't matter that we were happy, only that I didn't fit her mold. When the invitation arrived for William's younger brother Jeremy's wedding, a weekend event at a mountain lodge 3 hours north of the city, I surprised everyone, even myself, by agreeing to take time off work. My sister Helen was stunned. "You're taking a weekend off?" Mark it in the history books. But 3 days before the wedding, I woke at 4 a.m. doubled over in pain. William found me on the bathroom floor, clutching my stomach, drenched in cold sweat. "Hospital now," he said. The ER was a blur of beeping machines and pale blue curtains. A CT scan confirmed it. Bleeding gastric ulcer, likely caused by the combination of my high-pressure job and the anxiety I'd been feeling about the upcoming weekend with Amelia. 5 days minimum in the hospital. No standing, no traveling. "I'll let everyone know," William said, squeezing my hand. "They'll understand. Just focus on getting better." I nodded. "Especially your mom. Please don't let her think I'm flaking." "I'll handle her," he promised. By the second day, the pain was manageable, but boredom wasn't. I asked William to bring my laptop, promising not to overdo it. Just emails, maybe a spreadsheet or two. I was halfway through editing a report when the door to my hospital room slammed open. Amelia stepped inside like she owned the place, dressed in a tailored coat, her handbag clutched like a gavel. Her eyes swept the room before settling on me, narrowing with calculated suspicion. "You look fine," she said flatly. "You're upright typing. What's the emergency?" "Amelia," I said, careful to keep my tone neutral. "What are you doing here?" "I came to remind you that the wedding starts at 2. We expect you there by noon tomorrow." My fingers involuntarily tightened around my IV line. "I'm not allowed to leave. William told you I was admitted, didn't he?" "He said some nonsense about an ulcer. You're clearly functional, so stop pretending." The monitor beside me beeped as my heart rate increased. "I'm not pretending. I'm on intravenous fluids. I can't even walk unassisted." She crossed her arms. "You're on a laptop. If you can type, you can sit in a car." I closed the screen. "This is a hospital, Amelia. Please lower your voice." "Oh, don't give me that respectful environment talk," she snapped. "You're embarrassing this family. Missing your brother-in-law's wedding. Who does that?" I exhaled slowly. "Someone who's under doctor's orders not to leave her bed." "No," she said, voice rising. "Someone who doesn't care." someone who uses work and health as an excuse. Her words cut through the antiseptic air. The woman in the next bed rustled behind the curtain, clearly uncomfortable with the scene unfolding. Amelia leaned closer, her voice dropping to a hiss. "If you don't come tomorrow, Olivia, don't bother coming back into this family. In fact, divorce William. If you can't respect family, you don't deserve him." My chest tightened. Not from pain this time, but rage. "Are you serious right now?" Deadly. I pressed the nurse call button, never breaking eye contact. "What are you doing?" she demanded. "Getting you removed," I said calmly. "You're disturbing other patients." Seconds later, a nurse appeared. "Ma'am," the nurse said sternly to Amelia, "you'll need to leave immediately or I'll call security." Amelia scoffed. Unbelievable. But she backed off. With one final glare, she turned on her heel and stormed out. The door clicked shut behind her like a judge's gavel. I lay back on the pillow, heart racing, the fluorescent lights suddenly too bright, too harsh. I didn't cry, I didn't scream, I didn't even reach for my phone to text William. I could have told him everything, let the wedding implode under his mother's chaos, but I didn't, not because I was scared of what he'd say, but because I still believed he deserved peace. A weekend with his family, one day free of drama, even if that meant I had to bite my tongue in a hospital bed while his mother waged war on my marriage. Now, 3 days later, I was home. William had brought me back yesterday, the doctors satisfied with my recovery progress while he kept fussing over pillows and blankets. The divorce papers sitting in front of me confirmed what I'd always known. This wasn't over, not even close. Amelia must have gone straight to her lawyer after the hospital and then waited for William to tell her I was home. William's voice broke through my thoughts. "You want me to sign these?" "Mom, this is insane." Amelia folded her arms smug. She made a promise. If she didn't show up at Jeremy's wedding, she'd leave the family. "I never said that," I interrupted. "You did." "Same difference." William opened his mouth, but she spoke faster. I raised him. I was there for every scraped knee, every late-night fever. I built this man. You just moved in and took credit. I felt my pulse steady as I took the pen from the table. Something cold and certain settled in my stomach as I signed my name, the signature curving across the bottom of the page like a boundary drawn in permanent ink. I slid the papers forward. "There," I signed. "Now it's your turn." William blinked. "What?" "Not on paper. With words. Right here, right now. Not next week. Not after thinking it over." Amelia folded her arms. "He doesn't need to think. He's my son." The air in the room seemed to thicken as I turned to William. "I've never asked you to choose until now, but you can't keep trying to make peace between two people who are tearing you apart." He closed his eyes, breathing shallow. Amelia moved closer. "Sweetheart, don't do this. You know I only want the best for you." William opened his eyes. "And what if she is the best?" Amelia flinched as if he'd struck her. "You're not thinking clearly." "I am," he said, "for the first time." She looked shaken. Her voice trembled now. "She's turned you against your own mother." William looked at me, then at her, and said firmly, "No, you did that yourself." Amelia's face contorted with rage. She turned to me and snapped, "You've brainwashed him. He feeds you, cleans for you, serves you like a butler, and you, what do you even do? You sit back and let him carry everything like some entitled queen. You're a parasite." I felt my pulse steady. I looked her dead in the eye and replied without flinching, "No, Amelia. He doesn't feed me. I feed both of us." The silence after my words was thick and ringing. Amelia's mouth opened, but nothing came out. For the first time since I'd met her, she was at a loss. William left his job before we got married. It was his choice. He hated the corporate grind, the pressure, the stress. So I said, "Let me handle the finances, and you build the life around us." That was our deal. She was blinking rapidly now, as if trying to wake up from something. I went on, each word precise and measured. "For the last 3 years, I've paid the rent. The utilities, the groceries, the gifts you bragged about to your friends, the checks you thought were from him. That was me, Amelia. I budgeted for you like another household expense. Amelia's skin turned pale. But he sent money every month, she said, voice shaky, for gas and my HOA fees. Yes, because I gave him a line in our budget called Mom. William winced slightly but didn't argue. I paid your heating bill last winter. I covered your overdraft twice this year and the catering for Jeremy's rehearsal dinner. That charge went through on my card because your son asked me to help, and I did, quietly. Amelia looked down at her hands. The silence that followed was different this time, no longer tense, just defeated. You made me out to be a burden, a parasite, I said, but you've been eating from my table this whole time. William finally spoke. His voice was soft. I was going to tell you. I just didn't want to embarrass you. Amelia still didn't look at us. Her shoulders, always squared like armor, now sagged. I didn't know, she said quietly. I didn't realize, I said. That was the point. I never asked you to be grateful, just to be kind. She stared at the floor. Why didn't you say anything? I tilted my head. Would it have changed anything? Would you have treated me like family if you'd known I was paying your bills? Her silence was answer enough. William stepped toward her slowly. Mom, we've tried. But this can't continue. You've made Olivia feel like a guest in her own life, and I've let it happen. That stops today. She looked up at him, eyes glossy. You're really going to distance yourself from me? I'm going to set boundaries. What you do with them is up to you. There was a long pause, and then, as if a switch flipped, Amelia's voice changed, pleading, fragile. I'm sorry, she said, voice cracking. I didn't realize I was hurting you both. I thought I was protecting you. I didn't know the full picture. I didn't move. Olivia, she said softly, you're right. I crossed the line. I shouldn't have gone to the hospital. I shouldn't have brought those papers. I didn't want to lose my son, and I thought you were taking him from me. I studied her, the trembling lip, the slumped posture. It might have seemed sincere if I hadn't heard the same tone before, right after every boundary she pushed, every time she got caught. But the problem wasn't whether she meant it. The problem was I didn't care anymore. I appreciate the apology, I said, but I don't trust it. Olivia, please. I'm not asking for anything, Amelia. You did. You asked for divorce, for ultimatums, and now you've got them. William nodded slowly. We're moving. She jerked her head toward him. What? We've already been talking about it, he said. Olivia needs distance to heal. I need it too. We found a new place last week while she was still in the hospital. The lease starts next month. And I'm not giving you our new address, I added. Her face collapsed. You can't mean that. We do, I said. And as for these divorce papers, I ripped them in half decisively. They're never going to be filed. She stood suddenly like she might try to grab the papers or throw something or just disappear, but she didn't. She just looked around the room, taking in the reality. This wasn't her house. This wasn't her son's life. It was mine, ours, and she had no power here anymore. When you're ready to treat both of us with respect, William said, you can call. Until then, this is goodbye. She didn't say anything, didn't cry, didn't scream, just nodded barely and walked to the door. It clicked softly behind her. That was the last time she stood in our home. We moved 3 weeks later, a cozy brownstone 2 neighborhoods over, farther from Amelia, closer to my office. William found a part-time position managing a local community garden. He loved it. I let go of a few client accounts and started leaving work by 6 p.m. instead of 9. We learned how to slow down together. My sister Helen came over with wine and snacks the first night and said, "So, that finally blew up, huh?" "I wouldn't call it an explosion," I replied, watching the sunset from our new kitchen window. "More like a surgical cut. No drama, no revenge, just release." As for Amelia, word got around that her other sons had also pulled away. Jeremy called us the week after his honeymoon to apologize for his mother's behavior at the hospital. William had finally told him everything, Turns out Jeremy's new wife didn't appreciate being shamed for not inviting Amelia to their honeymoon. And when she found out Amelia tried to end our marriage the same weekend, she stopped responding to her mother-in-law altogether. Last I heard, Amelia was still living in that too-big condo alone, sending carefully worded texts on holidays. William responded politely, but nothing more. Both Jeremy and their oldest brother, Mark, had reduced contact to occasional family gatherings, never one-on-one. She had spent so long trying to control her children that she forgot how to simply love them. And love, unlike guilt, is not a guarantee. Before you go, here's a quick bonus for sticking around. If you love learning and growing like I do, you need to try listening to stories. I've got an exclusive deal with a popular audio platform. Your first month is completely free. That's access to over 500,000 titles. Zero cost to you. All the details are waiting in the description. Don't miss this one.